Hello, everyone. You are welcome to today's lesson. And the first part of today's lesson is going to be a short one. Okay, we are going to look at the solution to the assignment that was given in our previous lesson. And the assignment is exactly what you have on your screens. So quickly, let's go and look at the solution. However, okay, indirectly, I have a marking scheme. So I'm going to guide you to mark your work together. I've gone through your work, so I will address, okay, most of the concerns, if not all, that I saw, okay, in your submissions. So please stick and stay with me whilst I walk you through the solution that we do the marking together. Okay. So as usual, we read the question, we underline salient parts, if any. So resolve the following into partial fraction. Usually, for partial fraction questions, you end up resolving. Okay, so at this point, there is no salient parts to underline. So these are the fractions that we have to resolve. So at this point, what do we do? First thing, solution. The question's numbered, so your solution must be numbered. Okay, only that you don't have a major question number, you have a minor question number. The first one is A, so you write that one. So if you didn't number it, it will come with a penalty. And okay, I'm going to do so. You put -1 there. Okay, so put -1 here if you didn't number. But in the test, once we are doing this, it means we are very close to the test. Okay, in the test, if you fail to number, it will be M0, A0. Everything will be 0. So take note. I've been saying this times, okay, without number. So now what do we do? Okay, you extract. You can write given this or ignore this, but this must not be ignored. If you extract this, okay, just a bonus mark. It's not, the B is not representing bonus. I'm saying that it's bonus in the sense that here, no input, just copy and paste. So B half for that. Okay, then, okay, we come to our denominator. Remember the first question you ask yourself whenever you are resolving, which means you have to write the identity, and you write in the identity, the first question you ask yourself is what? Proper or improper? Numerator, the degree is 0. Denominator, the degree will be 3. So obviously proper. Once it's proper, you zoom or you go straight to the denominator and you check whether the denominators that you have there, the factors, any of them is factorable. Okay, so here you have x squared. The x is not factorable. Okay, then x minus 1, linear, not factorable. So x is linear, not factorable. X minus 1 is also linear, not factorable. However, if you look at the x here, it is linear with a power of 2. If you don't take care, this question is, in fact, carefully selected just for you to know this. If you don't take care, you might assume this is quadratic, and therefore its numerator will be linear. So those of you who assume that, even if you assumed that this is just what do you call it, a factor. What is happening to my, okay, digital board? I see, okay, so it's now reflecting. So this is what we have. If you see that to give you one fraction, you write s squared. I don't know why you write s squared, and you know that this is quadratic. Assuming you are saying that this is quadratic, and you come and write a there. You've gone beyond this. If this is quadratic, you are treating your denominator as quadratic. The numerator should be linear. Some of these basic errors, we've gone beyond that. So if you write this, then it means you are not revising. That is basically what you are trying to, or you are just being careless. You don't care about your marks. But please, I'm talking passionate because I care about your marks. In fact, I care about my marks too. So take notes. However, like I'm saying, you can see that this is a quantity squared. So it means you are dealing with a repeated factor, and that factor is what? X. So take note. In actual fact, the s that you have there, s squared, you can write that one as x times what? X. Okay, but it's a quantity squared. Anytime you see a quantity, okay, to a certain power, you should know that the quantity that you are dealing with, okay, check if it's factorable. If it's not factorable, then you are dealing with repeated, okay, factor, okay, of that quantity. I hope my point is well made. So it means this will be treated as a repeated factor of x. So because the power is 2, this will give me 2 fractions, and this will give me 1. So the first fraction for the s squared will be, the first denominator will be x. Its numerator will be a because your repeated factor is linear. Okay, then the second one, the denominator will be s squared. Its numerator will be b, because remember, you are treating this as a repeated linear factor. So the denominator, okay, or the numerators for each of the fraction coming out of that should be a constant. Then you come to this is also a linear factor. So a denominator, linear numerator will be a constant. So if you are able to write the identity b2, take note, if you don't write equal to and you write, okay, so if you don't write the identity and you write equal to -1, take note, I've told you, anytime you are introducing your letters, that step is where you introduce your identity sign. Take note. So if you fail to do that, it comes with a penalty. Okay, you shouldn't get the same marks as someone who is being particular, doing exactly what is expected of him or her. Okay, so I'm not going to be lenient. So going forward, everything will be equal to. Okay, so now this will be equal to, remember, what do? We come and write this side as a single fraction. So take the LCM, and the LCM will always be the same as this. Okay, because this is a factor of this, okay, and this is not, so you just multiply this and this to be your LCM. Now you ask yourself, x will go into the LCM here how many times? In natural fact, it will be s squared into x minus 1 all over x. So this x will cancel one of the x there. So you'll be left with s times this. So that's what I've written here times your a. Okay, the same analysis for this. The s squared will go into this. The s squared will cancel. You'll be left with this. So it will be b times this. It's a binomial. You put it in brackets. And x minus 1 will go into this how many times? It will cancel. So you'll be left with s squared. So it will be times c. So c s squared. That gives you m1. So at this point, since you've written both sides as a single fraction, the denominators are the same. So that means you have to, what do you call it? You have to equate what? The numerators. Okay, so please, okay, take note. Okay, all right. So denominators are the same, equate the numerators. So at this point, if you want to use the cover-up method, the elimination method, or the method of comparing coefficients, you do. But like I stated, okay, just master the elimination method or the cover-up method. So with this one, you can see that we have two direct linear factors, though one of them is repeated. You have one linear factor, x, okay, it's repeated, but it's a linear factor. And you have another linear factor, x minus 1. So this will be strictly your first linear factors that you will use to, okay, go for the values that will help you in your substitution. So the first one is x. So you equate x is equal, to 0. So you get x equal to 0. So in that case, okay, I did that one, okay, as the second one. Okay, but, okay, it doesn't really matter. You can do this one first, followed by this. So here in the presentation, I did x is equal to, x minus 1 is equal to 0 mentally. So x will be equal to what? 1. So if x is equal to 1, substituted, I ended up getting c to be equal to 2. Okay, so you can see the marks there. When you carry out your substitution, which is compulsory, m1. Okay, and if you substitute, you see that you get 2 is equal to any term that contains the factor that you set to 0 to give you the value of s that you are supposed to substitute. That term will go. So this contains that term, that factor. So it will go. This also contains that factor. It will go. So you'll be left with 1 squared, which is 1 times c. So you get c here. Okay, so that would be it for this. Then you go for the s is equal to 0, 2. So this one of your liberty values, in fact, 2 of them gone. Okay, 1 and what? And 0, 0 and 1. Okay, so your next liberty value. So these were not liberty values, so take note, because you got them from the factors. So what do you do? Again, you substitute. If s equal to 0, substitution m1. Okay, and any factor that contains the x will be 0. Okay, will vanish. So this one, okay, will vanish. This one will not, because it doesn't contain that your factor that you set to 0. This term contains, so it will equally vanish. So you get your b straight away. However, you want 3 letters. You introduce 3 letters, a, b, and c, so you are left with 1. So at this point, what do you do? Okay, I know some of you will come and write it again and divide by 1. Okay, sorry, -1. It's not necessary. It's the same as you move this one to this side and move this one to this side. So that will give you b is equal to -2. So whenever you have a negative number and the coefficient is 1, you can always do this. Just move instead of dividing by negative. I guess my point is well made. So look at the marks there as well. Then now, okay, we will need our liberty value. We have done 2 substitutions, so we need a third one because we had 3 unknowns. So what do we do? If s is equal to 0 gone, okay, 1 gone, so 2. So you substitute as well. So if you substitute, in this case, none of them will vanish because you didn't use any of the factors here. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to get 2, okay, is equal to, so you substitute, you know how to carry out the substitution. So this gives us, I'm going to 2 will be equal to, this will give you 2 minus 1 times 2. So that will give you 2 times a, so 2a. If you can't do it mentally, go through, okay, your steps systematically. Play is safe. Okay, then, so meaning you can equally do it mentally as you mature. B into 2 minus 1, do the 1 in brackets here. 2 minus 1 is 1 times B, so it will give you B. Then this will give you 2 squared, okay, times C. 2 squared is 4. 4 times C will give you 4C. So that gives you your M1. Okay, I think I didn't give marks here. Oh, no, there is. Okay, this one is covering. So this also, your substitution will give you M1. Okay, then after that, you come and substitute, okay, your knowns. Okay, you realize that you know the values of B and C. So it will be 2 is equal to 2A minus 2 because B is minus 2. So it should have been plus minus 2. But you know plus and minus will overpower that. So your maturity, you bring it to bear here. Then plus 4 into C is 2. Okay, so you substitute. So that will give you M half. Okay, at this point, you come and, okay, remove the brackets here. Then you, after removing the brackets, then you are going to get this. So at this point, you are solving for 2a. Maintain the 2a here. Combine these 2 terms and move it to this side. If you combine this, you get 6. So it will be, you move it here to be minus 6 plus 2. So that will give you minus 4 is equal to 2a. So that is also m half. You write it again before you divide, m half. Okay, and in writing it again, I decided to write a 2a first. That doesn't mean I have moved. So 2a is equal to minus 4, then I divide. You can keep the 2a here and divide. In that case, you will get negative 2 is equal to a is the same thing. So at this point, you know the values of A, B, and C, so you go and substitute. But whilst you are substituting, you have to be careful. So check, okay, your A here, let's see, can you directly substitute in your conclusion? No, because A is negative, so you don't have to start with A. Okay, then let's look at the B. Okay, B, what is its value? Is also negative, so you can't start with B. Let's go and look at C. C is what? Positive. So it means it will be ideal we start with the third term here in our, okay, identity, because you want to start with positive. So that will give you 2 over x minus 1. Then now you can, okay, substitute the values of the a and b here. So it will be minus 2 over x minus 2 over s squared. And that will give you a2. In all, 15 marks for this. Okay, for the A, 15 marks. Take note. Okay, I want to move on to the B. Are we all fine? Okay, Prof. Henry. Prof. Henry, please mute and...
Please, can you use the method
on mute. Comparing coefficients.
Please, can you use the method of comparing coefficients?
Yes, you can. Okay, you end up getting the same result. Okay, so if that is what you did and you ended up getting the same result, okay, sum the marks that you have there and give, because you cannot, you wouldn't know how to distribute. So check, you ask for from here to here, we should all have the same thing here. It is from here going that you can use a different method. So, okay, you get this marks there, this should be there, this should be there, should be there. Then the remaining marks that you have there, if you did everything perfectly right, okay, then you sum the remaining marks that you have there, then you put it there, then you come and add, okay, the ones that you have up here. And that's how you are going to mark. You get the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. I saw another hand up. Or you were also going to say the same thing? Were you going to ask the same thing? Okay, all right. Kasha. Prof. Kasha.
Mr. Hackman, please, is there a situation where the identities are all negative?
Yes, And very soon you'll see one.
Yes, please.
Are you talking about, did you say the identity or all the terms in the identity?
All the terms.
Yes, you can.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. But I can give you this. Okay, so just by the way. Can't I give you this fraction to combine? I'm just using the normal. I can give you this fraction. Is that not it?
Yes, please.
Okay, 3 or even 2, all of them being negative, the same thing.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So just extend that concept to that one as well. But like I said, you meet an example that will. So my questions are carefully selected to deal with all situations. So possibly some of the questions that you want to ask will deal with it, but that doesn't stop you from asking it if you have not dealt with it, just as you have done. You get it?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So can I move on to the B?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let's look at the B. Okay, so the B again. Okay, question number critical. If you fail to do that, -1. Okay, I've told you in the test it will be everything 0. Okay, all right. So in this case, if you extract B half, and remember I said the first question that you ask yourself before is proper or improper. So let's check, is this proper or improper? Degree of numerator is 2. That of the denominator will be 2. So proper or improper?
Proper.
Did you say proper, Prof. Gabi?
Improper.
Improper, very good. So if it is improper, then ordinarily we would have, we have a particular way of dealing with it. Okay, but because of the advice I gave you yesterday, I told you that anytime you are given a rational function and you realize that the denominator contains only a linear repeated factor, only one factor, there is no other factor attached, but that factor is repeated. Okay, use the substitution method. It doesn't really matter whether it is proper or improper because, you will not go through the identity. It's because of the identity that you have to ask yourself whether it is proper or improper to guide you to get the identity. Because the way you write your identity for the proper situation is different from that of what's the improper situation. Okay, so it means here we are not going through the identity approach. Okay, so we are not bothered whether it is proper or improper. So straight away, what do? We let u to be equal to the repeated linear factor s plus 2. So that would be B1. Then come and make s the subject. So if you make s the subject here, you are going to get s to be equal to what? U minus 2. So that would be m half. Okay, at this point I'm mature, so I can say therefore what I've been asked to resolve into partial fraction, will be equal to, then I go and carry out my substitutions. So the denominator, remember we said this is u, so that will give you u squared. Now you come to the numerator, the x here must be represented in terms of u. So you go and get the s representation for u. So that is u minus 2, but it's the whole of that one squared. So you put it in brackets, but that's not all plus 1, and that will be m1. Is my point well made, my professors? Okay, so at this point, we are experts in expanding, binomial. You can see that as I move from this step to the next step, I'm writing close to the margin. Okay, from today, I shouldn't be doing this. Okay, move your work up, move your work to this side, because I've been saying that a lot of time. So please make sure, every step on the way, some of these things, these are basic. Okay, it doesn't involve any mathematical thinking, just automatic, just write it basic. It doesn't involve any input. So take note, that was just by the way. So at this point, we should know how to expand a binomial square. So if you should know this identity. If I have a minus b all squared, I know that this will give me a squared minus 2ab then plus b squared. Okay, if I have a plus b all squared, this will be a squared. The second sign operation there will be plus 2ab then plus b squared. Your first term and the last term, which are square terms, are always positive, but the middle term, which will be twice the product of this and this, will be negative if the sign here is negative, will be positive if the sign here is positive. So it means this expands to, this is your a, this is your b now, so it will be a squared, which is u squared, then twice the product of a and b. So a and b will be 2, A is U, B is 2. So it will be 2U. Twice that will be 4U. Then plus what? B squared. B is 2. 2 squared is 4. Then remember plus your 1 all over your U squared. So after expansion, usually we combine like terms. Okay, so that will give us U squared minus 4U. Then if you combine this, that gives us what? 5. So at this point, you've expressed this in terms of U, but as a single fraction, but we want the partial fraction. So you go and take each term in the numerator and divide by your denominator. So it will be U squared over U squared minus 4U over U squared and plus 5 over U squared. And you can see that the first two terms we can reduce because we can see U in both the numerator and denominator. So this U squared will cancel this. So I'll be left with 1. Then minus, okay, this U will cancel one of the U's in the denominator. So I'll get 4 over U. Then plus, here you can't cancel anything. So at this point, you cannot conclude in U. The U has served its purpose. So you go and substitute back. So that gives us 1 minus 4 over U. Your U is S plus 2 plus 5 over U squared. And U is S plus what's 2 all squared. So this gives you A1. Okay, now, okay, the total marks is 8. So if you sum, this is how I'm going to distribute the bonus mark. Okay, so if you sum, on the face of it, we are supposed to get 23. Okay, however, if you get 22 to 23, you get the bonus mark of 2. So plus 2. If you get 20 to, okay, let me say 20.5, okay, you get a bonus mark of 1. Okay, that is even huge. 22. Okay, so is it 20 to 21.5? Forgive me, not 20.5. To 21.5. Okay, you get a bonus mark of 1. So take note. If you had 20, it will be plus 1. 20.5, it will be plus 1. 21, okay, plus 1. 21.5 plus 1. So here, if you get 22, 22.5, then 23 plus 2. Point well made. So in all, it's supposed to be 25. You are marking. And once we mark, you are supposed to mark, capture, and send it. So I don't want you to tell me you didn't know whether you were supposed to submit or not. You know. So anytime you mark, okay, you are supposed to mark and capture your marked work. And you should always indicate, so on top of my first page, so this was my first page. Okay, on top of my solution, I will have, okay, the total there. So if I scored everything 25, then I don't just write 25 over 25. Let us see the denominator, whatever that you scored over the total. And it should be clearly written. Don't go and put it in any corner. Okay, clearly and boldly written. Take notes. Okay, and when you capture it, you have to capture in such a way that I will see it as well, other than I will ask you to go and do it again. Okay, so please, okay, take note. This will be it for the solution to the, what do you call it? The assignment. Are we all fine? Any questions? No questions. Okay, so on that note, okay, I bring down the curtains, okay, on this particular, okay, solution to the assignment, indirectly the marking scheme. Okay.